All right. Well, good evening, Linda.
Hello, hello. I'm excited to see you.
Yes, well, first of all, let me say congratulations to you on being our Carl Perkins Community Service Award winner for this year. So happy for you and congratulations and all of those wonderful things. It's such a deserving honor to you.
Thank you.
Yes, so I would like to go ahead and get us started. And what I'd like to do is ask you just to tell us a little bit about your background and how you became involved in CTE.
Okay, yeah, I am a product of CTE. I was a struggling student in high school, and one day these lovely girls in a pink uniform came to visit our school, and they spoke to our class, and they came from our BOCES Vocational Tech Center, and they came over to tell us about the different programs. They were in an LPN program, and I went home and I said, this is what I want to do. Because of my grades, because I was struggling, it was a long shot. Even my guidance counselor said, just try to graduate. I was having so much difficulty. And I said, I don't know. I think this is for me. And it sure was. It was that involvement and that education that gave me my start as a career and technical education teacher, but it gave me my start as a nurse. I got my LPN. I was inspired to go to college. It just gave me a sense of confidence, and I just was so grateful for the education, for the teachers. The teachers were very different than the academic teachers. They seemed to be more understanding. They made everything interesting. Everything that we did, I was doing math, which I was failing at the high school, and I was doing math and calculating medications, and it didn't seem like I was doing math at all because it was all in the application. So I was hooked from 16 years old, and here I am, an old lady, and I'm still hooked and still in love with career and technical education.
Well, it does hook us, right? It gets us right when we need it most, and it takes us where we need to be. And so that leads me into our second question. And so tell us about some of the community service projects that your students have been involved in. Where do you get your ideas from the projects that you do create with your students?
Well, career and technical education is an inspiration in itself. So when you're hooked on CTE, you want to spread that word. It is a wonderful thing. So you look at your group of students in the classroom and you want more for them. So my students are in the health science pathway. We mainly do nursing home nurse aid, and my students, they like that, but they don't love it. They want to work with children. So I try to get as many volunteer projects going that involve children. I came across the Newburgh Armory where they hold Saturday programs. They had reading. So I said to a group of students, anybody that wants to come with me, meet me at the Armory and we will read to kids and we'll see what this is all about. While I was there, I said something is missing, and what it was a career program. So I asked if I could volunteer and teach and create a career program. I created Scholars in Scrubs, which is career education on the healthcare aspect. They learn wellness, nutrition, how to do skills like a nurse. They get introduced to healthcare professionals. And so I was inspired to create this course, but not for me to be alone in. It was for me to bring my students. My students are highly involved. They are inspired to teach. They are inspired to show the skills that they're learning in their classroom to younger students. They're inspired to model wellness as they teach about nutrition. We don't stop just at healthcare. We bring apples in, different kinds of apples, so they can have tastings. We introduce them to agriculture. We introduce them to business, teaching them a little bit about money. So it is focused on, Scholars and Scrubs is focused on healthcare, but we do introduce other careers. And I'm really proud to say that that has taken off, and there are a few other career programs budding over at the Armory. Other types of community service programs are blood pressure clinics that we hold within our classroom for teachers and students, but we also open it up to parents because we want to keep our community well. So my students are just highly involved. You can see the leaders come out of them as they help organize, set up, perform the skills. They run it like a medical clinic. This past clinic they did in October, they introduced education on breast cancer awareness. So they're learning, they're doing the research, and they're doing the skills for the community. So they are spreading the health and wellness throughout. So my ideas just get inspired by life. I see a need and I ask my students if they would want to get involved, and they do. They follow me wherever I go. Thank God. It is really a blessing. This is the good Lord inspired these students to have that same love for service, love for what they're doing. And I see their passion growing. I see them seeing themselves in their roles and actually putting themselves in their roles. Some of them are going to be teachers. Hopefully they're teachers of my program so I can retire. But I see them, I see the nurse in them, the physical therapist in them, the teacher in them, the parent in them, because they're so loving. So it really is, it's an infectious concept, this community service. It's something that I love. I think they feel that love, and I think they're inspired to continue that work.
Yeah. Well, Linda, it really lends itself, what you just said, right into our next question, because as I look at this question, it says, how has community service enhanced your students' learning in the classroom? But not only what I hear you saying is in the classroom, but it's also beyond the walls of your classroom. So I think that that's important for me just to kind of put that in there too. And then the second part of that question is, how has your community service changed during the pandemic? And you've answered so much of that, but I want you please to expound upon those two things. How has community service enhanced your students' learning in the classroom? And I'm going to say beyond the classroom. And how has your community service participation changed during the pandemic?
So first question about the community service, how has it enhanced my students? My students, like I said earlier, they are now feeling the role, they're feeling the leadership. They're feeling, I tell them, do you want to be the team leader of this little medical group that's running the clinic? And they are embracing that. So it is beyond the classroom. It is even beyond the clinical rotation that we do, because we're kind of limited there. We're there for a certain period of time. We do run it for the whole day. So they're able to reflect on what they're doing to make it better. We do a post clinic, if it's a blood pressure clinic, or even over at the Armory, we do a post conversation to see, well, what can we do better next time? They're part of the planning. So they are really finding their purpose. And that's what this community service is doing. It's giving them an experience beyond, but it is also an experience of giving to others without receiving anything. And that I really see that happening. And the question about the pandemic kind of leads back to what I just said. My community service, my volunteers, my students became more involved during the pandemic. And maybe it's the nature of what I teach with healthcare. They saw what was happening. This was a health crisis. So they wanted to give. So we started out with, we could not go to clinical. So they would come to the Armory. Then when the Armory closed down, they helped me with virtual learning. So we had a Google Classroom. They were involved. They participated. They helped me spread the word. I made these little, like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, but of the healthcare version, little segments, little, 1 to 3 minute videos where it was education, but they helped me get the word out because they were in the community. I live in a whole different state, and I commute. So they helped me with that. But also during the pandemic, when the vaccine was first, introduced, I I joined the medical reserves. My students wanted to be involved. So again, everywhere I go, they came. So they helped me start vaccine clinics at our district for the families, for the students, and they helped work it. They could not give the vaccines. They're not able to do that. But they helped people fill out applications. They helped, time people as, they sat, entertain them, speak to them. They helped translate when that was needed. So they were a real support. And that went on through the summer, weekends. And, they were there. Every time I said, I need some volunteers, I had at least 20 volunteers during the pandemic. So the pandemic, although how horrible it was, I think it inspired my students to understand that gift of giving back to others, loving others, and really what healthcare is about, the roots of healthcare.
Yes, yes. So, listening to you, and even from the very beginning and hearing your story and how you came about in CTE, our next question is, I am sure, beyond a shadow of a doubt, of your passion for CTE and, what it has done for you and how you have seen it matriculate from yourself down to your students. Where where does that passion come from?
Well, first and foremost, good Lord, God gave me a love for helping others. So I start out with that, and that's always my grounding point. And community service is within me. It was given to me as a gift. But that passion, every time I see my students, many of them don't have, strong family backgrounds. They're coming from an inner city. The minute I set foot in that school, I knew I wanted to do things for these students that I can do for my, same things that I do for my own daughter. I wanted to give them opportunities, inspiration, love, warmth, a granola bar if necessary, hemming their uniforms, whatever it takes. So it is this, it is the students, it is the community that gives me that inspiration, besides, what was instilled within me from when I was made. But, I do feel that every time I look at a student, I just want to give them whatever they need. I want to get them on the right path. They are so worthy of everything that we can do for them. And, many of them are not in situations where they have someone in their life. So I know that that's what I am destined to do. And that's where that passion comes from.
All right. And the second part to that question, and please forgive me for my little coughing spell that I had there. Why is CTE important?
CTE is so important. That's what our industry is made up of. You go for a haircut, that's a CTE person. You go to the doctor, CTE. Your house that you're sitting in, it's all built. The foundation of everything is career and technical, career people, technical education and programs that we have in our high schools, middle schools. We need them in the elementary schools. I mean, and like I said, with this volunteer program, we need it everywhere because we need quality people that work with quality, but work with that love that only career and technical education instills. You can go sit in a college classroom, but I think it is different when you're thinking about the career, when you have that strong focus. That's shaped in early education, middle school, high school, and that's why those students are ready for college. They're ready for that experience and the job world because we're preparing them, and that's why CT is so important. We're preparing the workforce of the future, especially needs the healthcare workers. We really need a strong workforce there.
Yes, we do. And so, Linda, our last question for this evening is, what part of being an ACTE member do you value most? And what would you say to someone considering becoming a member?
ACT to me is the extension of that experience I had growing up in high school. You know, I found my people. I used to say when I went to a vision conference, I said, I'm going to the mothership because that's where I could connect with people that understood exactly what I was talking about with what I was teaching.
Yes.
Everybody I met had that same passion. There wasn't anybody that was like, oh, my job, you know, they love what they do, and they see the focus, they see the purpose, and it's a love. So that's what first drew me to that, to ACTE, and how I wanted to become a member, to become more involved. I would tell someone that is considering becoming a member, do it. It is the best thing that you could ever do as a career and technical education teacher. I am a teacher in a comprehensive high school. So it is a little bit different because I'm, you know, a small fish in a big ocean, but I have a lot of support through ACTE. That's where I get my fish food, you know, that's where I get fed, nurtured. It is a family, and I find the more involved I get, the better I am professionally, the better I am as a teacher and as a person. I'm very proud to be part of this family. I'm proud to have served as a vice president, to be on the board. And I would tell anyone, become a member and get involved. You know, don't just, you know, go to a conference or just, you know, pay your dues. Get involved, participate. It's the best thing you could ever do.
Yes, it certainly is. And I can't remember the first time that we met. I think it was we were on a committee together. I can't remember, but just watching you and you know what you do and your leadership and your participation. I was a part of the mentorship when it first came out, and you know how you all just expressed the need for that and the things that we needed to do. I will say to you, you are so right about that, you know, being a member of ACTE, it does help you to grow professionally and personally. And so you're so right. And so I am so humbled and honored that one, I got to meet you some years ago. And today that I get to interview you as we celebrate you as the Carl Perkins Community Award winner, right? And I think that that is just so, such an amazing honor. And you're so deserving of it. You work really hard with your kids and your passion that you have for CTE. We are so blessed and fortunate to have you as a part of and doing and leading in our organization. And I just, you know, I'm glad that I got to be here again. And I wish you well. I know I'm going to see you. I always see you because we're doing something
Absolutely.
together.
We're family
right?
now. We are the ACT family. I know I am so
Yes.
proud. I was very humbled to receive this award. You saw I cried like a baby. I just did not expect it, but I love, you know, I just will end with this one thing. When you're at an ACT conference, you see so many people hugging, embracing, and that's because we're so happy to see each other. Someone that you may have met in passing or on a Zoom, like you and I met basically on a Zoom. You know, the first thing I felt like doing is hugging you, and you know, because we're just, everyone is just so connected. It's really a beautiful experience, and this organization is unlike any other that I'm part of, and I just, it's built on love. It's built on a foundation of everybody who loves what they're doing, and that's a true blessing.
Yes, it really is. It really is. And so again, as we said, congratulations.
Thank you.
You know, I'm honored and humbled, as I said, just to know you, and thank you for accepting me into the family.
Of course, my sister. And we do share the Teacher of the Year award as well. So
Absolutely.
we do. We're even
humbled.
more connected.
I'm absolutely humbled.
Yes,
So
thank you. Thank
so
you.
listen, have a great evening. Have a wonderful holiday season with
You
family
too.
and friends, and we'll see each other soon.
Yes, God bless you and thank you so
Same
much.
to you.
Thank
You're
you.
so welcome. Have a good one, Linda.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.